National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2012 was signed into law by President Barack Obama on December 31st, 2011. Staying true to their already horrific and unconstitutional voting records, both Brad Sherman and Howard Berman voted yes on the National Defense Authorization Act, also known as the NDAA. The NDAA defines the whole world, including the United States, as a battlefield. And Section 1032 of the NDAA authorizes the indefinite detention of American citizens. Section 1032 of the NDAA is carefully and deceptively worded. Section 1032 of the NDAA states that the requirement to detain a person in military custody under this section does not extend to citizens of the United States. So indefinite detention of American citizens isn't required. It isn't mandatory, but it's discretionary. In other words, the military doesn't have to indefinitely detain American citizens, but they can if they want to. Despite the deceptive language, the bottom line is that the NDAA, which again both Brad Sherman and Howard Berman voted in favor of, does authorize the indefinite detention of American citizens. Technically, American citizens can be renditioned on American soil and sent off to Guantanamo Bay. At the discretion of the executive branch, American citizens can now be renditioned by the military on American soil, indefinitely detained with no evidence, no charges, no lawyer, and no fair trial. This legislation basically ends habeas corpus. This legislation basically ends posse comitatus. And this legislation is 100% unconstitutional. This legislation is the polar opposite of what America has historically stood for, and this legislation basically renders our Constitution and Bill of Rights null and void. The denial of liberty without due process of law always has been, and still is, unconstitutional. The NDAA may just be the most draconian, anti-American, unconstitutional piece of legislation in modern American history, and I would have obviously voted no on the NDAA. I firmly believe that we should never give up our liberty on the pretext of security. Is secret indefinite detention of citizens by the military the trademark of a free country with liberty and justice for all? Can any politician who voted in favor of the NDAA legitimately claim that they follow, let alone respect, our Constitution and Bill of Rights? Can any politician who voted in favor of the NDAA legitimately claim that they are serving the people? Can they legitimately claim that they are defending our republic? The fact of the matter is that there is no legitimate argument that can be made for overturning our Constitution and authorizing the indefinite detention of American citizens. If the people of California's 30th District want a real public servant that will never vote against the Constitution, a real public servant that will fight to repeal any and all unconstitutional laws, and a real public servant that will fight to restore our Constitution and Bill of Rights, then vote for me, Vince Gilmore, a constitutional Democrat.